Why, as designers, you guys force new champions to have so overloaded kit and just be better at everything than old champions? Urcho, I have a question for you. Is Nefiri better at everything than old champions? Uh, is she better at a lot of everything than Zed? Is she better at everything than Talon? Uh, is Hui better than everything than Syndra? Um, like Hui does do a lot of things, right? He's Mr. 12 spells, but like, are there things on Hui's kit, on Syndra's kit that are better than Hui's? Is Hui better at everything than Orianna? Um, mainly what I'm getting at here is Milio better at everything than Lulu or Janna? What I'm getting at here is like, I think when people say like new champions replace the old champions, it's like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes we make an overloaded champion. Like I think I released Zeri overloaded. She did too many things. That's why I changed her passive, right? Um, but there's often this thing where it's like new champions are just better than old champions, and they're just better at everything than old champions. And why would I pick an old champion? What is Riot doing? And like, you could just look at champions, let's say in pro play, and like kind of see that that generally tends to not be true, like on average. It's like let's go look at pro play this season, okay? Uh, let's go look at pro play this season. The most picked champions are Ashe, Varus, and Azir. Now, Kassanti's up here. And so if you're like, yeah, Kassanti's really good at a lot of things, like, you're right, he is. But again, the argument is that all the old champions suck compared to the new champions, is like what the argument is. Like, why would I play an old champion when all these new champions exist? And it's like, Ashe, Varus, Azir, Kalista, Rumble, Nocturne, Orianna, Lucian, Vi. Like, all these characters have been out, many of them over a decade. And, you know, there's Kassanti up here. I'm not saying, like, new champions don't sometimes come out and be powerful. Like, that's a thing that can happen. But I think it's, like, actually just kind of incorrect to say that, like, new champions are just always better than the things before them. It's a risk. It can happen. But to this day, one of the most viable bot lane AD carries is Misfortune for a lot of players, right? Like, and she's pretty straightforward. Garen remains a potent top laner, despite just doing some pretty basic stuff. He's not in pro play, right? But, I mean, he did show up at Worlds a little bit, but, like, there's a lot of people in, like, high MMR last season being like, what is Stridebreaker Garen? What is going on here? Stridebreaker, what was it? Stridebreaker and that, like, Hullbreaker, there we go. What is Hullbreaker Garen, right? Like, and so I just generally think that, like, if you're making the argument that new champions are just always better than old champions and just always are going to replace them, I just don't think it's true. Now, if you're like, hey, why is this new champion overloaded? It's like, yeah, sometimes we do give new champions too much. I definitely see that. But, like, characters like Lux have been the most popular champion in League of Legends since her literal release, and it has never changed. And so it's like, yeah, there's characters who might be stronger than Lux in certain ways, but Lux remains an incredibly viable and potent pick to this day. So, yeah.